2:06 in the afternoon. This is The Bright Side right here on Wave 105. Let's send it to the host, Mr. Paulie Suba.
All right, welcome back to another Bright Side here on Wave 105. Biba Betness!
Viva!
2:07 in the afternoon. This hour we do what we call the Guam Behavioral Health and Wellness Center Hour. We do this every Friday at 2 p.m. And so this Friday is no different. We do want to thank our sponsors, and that's Chili's Grill and Bar. At Chili's, more life, great food, and memories happen here. Micro Pack, heading off island, capture every moment with cameras and memory cards from Micro Pack. Subway, you got to refresh to be fresh. Triple J Ford, get a free $500 gas card when you drive home with a new Ford truck. Visit triplejguam.com and get pre-approved instantly. And GTA, we start with you. And so before we actually officially start, I'm so sorry. Let me first introduce them. And so we're going to be talking about the Crisis Intervention Team Program. And in the second half, we're going to be talking about the Pediatric Mental Health Care Access Project. And so if you have ever been in a situation where a loved one experienced a mental health crisis, you know the panic of not knowing what to do or who to call. And so you're not alone. Today we have big news about a unified effort right here in Guam to ensure our first responders are better prepared than ever. And so joining us now from the Guam Behavioral Health and Wellness Center's training branch and the Judiciary of Guam are our two special guests. And so from Guam Behavioral Health and Wellness Center is Crystalline.
Hi, I'm Crystal from Guam Behavioral. I work under our Mental Health Awareness Training Grant, Project Tiningo.
Yeah.
Tiningo in Chamorro means enlightenment or knowledge or learning. And so we're really excited to share more about it.
Thank you so much. And then from the Judiciary of Guam is Amalia.
Hi, Hafaday. Thank you so much for having us. My name is Amalia Duenas. I'm from the Judiciary of Guam under the Court Programs Office. I am a program coordinator and I assist with various different programs that we have, specifically the Justice and Mental Health Collaboration Program, which works to strengthen partnerships and increase access to service.
All right. And so I totally forgot to do this before, which is fine. I'm just going to bring the microphone closer. And yeah, you can take those headphones. And so, so we usually do this before the show, and I just got caught up in a whole bunch of other things, right? So we're just going to do this live on the radio. How's the sound?
It's good.
Yeah?
It's good. Yes.
It's good. Yes. All right. Nice. Okay, so now that we all can hear each other better, and if there are any phone calls, they can also hear you as well. So I want to learn about CIT. So what exactly is Crisis Intervention Team Training?
So CIT is an all-encompassing community partnership, and we bring together law enforcement, first responders, mental health professionals, people with lived experience and their families. We bring them together to improve the overall crisis response system by advocating for essential services and strengthening communication between the agencies.
All right. And so how is the judiciary involved?
Yes, so we're proud to share that recently we had a crisis intervention training. Guam Behavioral Health and Wellness Center had partnered with us to bring out some trainers to do the trainer course. This was funded under the Justice and Mental Health Collaboration Program. So back in June last month, we brought together 22 CIT coordinators locally from different agencies such as Guam Behavioral Health, Judiciary, Guam Fire Department, Guam Police Department, and TOGI. And they were all trained under this curriculum to kind of try and foster sustainability on the island so we can continue to have these types of trainings.
What does that curriculum look like?
So the curriculum is normally around like a 40-hour week of training, but we really focus on empathy building and also scenario-based kind of situations so that we can, rather than like the regular lecture class, it's more engaging.
Scenario-based, is that like actual situations that might have happened that people have brought up?
It could be. Typically, we'd have someone acting in a role as the person who's experiencing the crisis, and then we have our responders to that crisis.
At the end of the day, to safely de-escalate the situation for all involved, right? Not just for the individual, but bystanders, witnesses, family members, and the officers that are responding as well, right? Yeah. And so I understand that you're not the actual fire department and whatnot, or these officers that go out, but is there a skill set that's involved in all of this? I imagine communication skills,
Yes.
right, are a big part of it, right?
So also with the CIT, like the training,
Yeah.
you learn how to identify those different, I guess, signs of people in emotional distress or emotional disturbance that way. So that's a new skill set that we're trying to bring to our first responders and law
Okay.
enforcement.
Did you get did you meet your goals yet
For
first responders, the amount of first responders that you want to train?
So we actually haven't started. We just had the train the trainer. So we have we brought together the GFD, GPD, and other organizations to
Okay.
learn how to train this curriculum. So
Yeah.
now we can work together to train the staff at those respective agencies.
Okay, so again, there's a lot of communication involved in getting, I imagine Guam Police Department, Guam Fire Department, others, nonprofit organizations, because you also said Togi, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so just reaching out to their supervisors, and then do you think it's going to be one class? Are you gonna create different courses when they have a list of officers attend? Did you get there yet?
It definitely wouldn't be one class because the curriculum requires we keep it around like 20-ish
Okay.
participants.
Yeah.
So we'll have multiple when we finally get to organize those trainings.
Does the classroom look like a mix of different officers, or do you think you're just going to do GPD first and then fire department?
So when we did our first initial training, we had representatives from several different agencies. So we had representatives from fire department, police department,
Yeah.
and nonprofit. And we found that having a mix of agencies per training event helped those who were in the training kind of see the different perspectives. So it helped them understand different ways or different perspectives of how to respond to a crisis situation. So instead of working in silos,
Right.
we're building that community partnership and also the ability to depend on other agencies as well, to tap on them and say, can you assist with this? We have a client that needs that. So that also helps them identify what are the other resources in the community that we can bring the individual who's experiencing a crisis. Where can we bring them? Because how it currently works sometimes is if an individual is in crisis and they don't know who to call, they call 911. And when the police officers show up, some of them aren't trained in crisis response. So what ends up happening is they get arrested, and that's not beneficial for treatment, and it'll perpetuate the cycle. And where we come in is when they're able to get that different perspective and officers are able to identify the different resources, we can connect the individuals with treatment there and stop the cycle of arrest and crisis.
Yeah, I appreciate that, right? Because correct, when it involves a number of first responders, it could easily, right, when you go through the scenarios. And correct me if I'm wrong, somebody calls 911 and it might not even be the individual experiencing the crisis, right?
Correct.
Could be a neighbor, it could be somebody that is seeing all of this happening, calling 911. The police show up and they immediately realize that it probably should be the ambulance, or it probably should be the fire department, or it probably should be Guam Behavioral Health and Wellness Center with some of their officers, right? That
So-
will, and sometimes you're there all at once or one after the other within minutes, right?
So that's actually part of what CIT is doing for Guam,
Yeah.
like with strengthening the communication between agencies. So GBHWC 988 Crisis and Suicide Hotline and our mobile crisis response team
Yeah.
work hand in hand together. And the goal is eventually to make it more of a fluid process where if first responders identify someone in crisis, they can tap on 988, they can activate with MCRT together. That way we're able to bring those behavioral health support resources directly to them when the crisis is occurring.
And from my understanding, when they go through the program, they're not, the judiciary gets involved, right? But that's outside of your realm, right? You're part of this program to set up this entire training course, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So the CIT, the basis of the CIT is trying to build a stronger foundation for crisis response so that we can address these crises before it gets to the justice system.
Right.
So that's what our program, the Mental Health and Collaboration Program, is trying to do. We're trying to build up those foundational safety nets so that community partners and law enforcement have the tools to handle crisis, and it doesn't have to lead into the justice system.
Right. How does it benefit the justice system? I don't know, maybe, I don't know if you've seen those numbers, but is that something that your team has looked at?
So we do see that data shows that having a strong CIT program has massive drops in officer injuries, a decrease in the use of force, fewer people with mental health illness incarcerated for minor offenses. So with the data showing the efficacy of the effectiveness of the CIT program, we're trying to really build up what we have on the island, our CIT response on the island.
Sure. And I'm not certain if part of the educational campaign is within your divisions, but I imagine the community can benefit most if they understand some of understand that these programs exist, right? And that's why I really appreciate you both being in here. But sometimes we don't even know, who to call, right?
Right.
Sometimes, we can call 988 rather than 911. But in our head, 911 is the number to call if we see anything of the opinion that I need police here ASAP,
Yes.
or fire department ASAP, right? And so what about the dispatchers? Are they part of the training too?
Yes. So we actually did have one dispatcher from 911 and then also a dispatcher from 988 included in the CIT training for the curriculum.
And so they can also navigate as well based on the training that they receive and the call that's coming in to activate or mobilize the officers that need to be showing up, right?
Yep.
And so in your scenarios, do you go through that process with the questions that the dispatcher is asking the person that calls?
I don't remember exactly if we've had one, but because there were quite a few. But yes, we do scenarios with calls, how to calm people down, how to understand, maybe what kind of situation they're in.
Yes.
Yeah, that kind, and generally responding to someone in crisis.
Right, because again, I think that's going to also help the community, right, as to what they're seeing, right, and be able to also assist when they're calling dispatch, right, or some people do know the number to Guam Behavioral Health and Wellness Center, but not a lot, and that's why I really appreciate the 988 number as well, right? Yep. But the 988 number usually is for an individual themselves, right, that is seeking assistance with suicide.
No, not exactly. So if it's you or if it's someone you can still call 988.
To say that they're witnessing something?
Whether let's say someone is having a mental health crisis, you can call and see how you can seek resources, or even for yourself, if you're someone who's dealing with someone who has mental illness and it's a reoccurring thing, you can see if there's support for you also. So you can call 988 even if it's not.
If it's not me. Okay, that's something I didn't know, right? Because I'm worried that I don't want people to call 988 and inundate those operators too. But usually that can work out, right? Because then those people are fully trained. Those operators are fully trained in 988, right?
Yes.
To mobilize Guam Behavioral Health and Wellness Center officers rather than the Guam Police Department.
Our mobile crisis
Yeah,
response team.
right?
Mhm.
Yeah, and that would also help too, because again, the goal is not to have them incarcerated until we figure out what exactly is happening. Yeah, right? Because that could also escalate things further with behavioral health.
Yes.
Yeah,
You know, because it could be scary if
right.
you're having a crisis and you see the flashing lights, the cop
Right.
cars. So sometimes it's better when we're able to send our mental health professionals,
Yeah.
you know, to the scene. If, of course, if there's no imminent danger at the time for anyone
Sure.
involved.
Sure. Nice. Okay. Well, I really appreciate that. That that helps me better understand the benefits of 988, right? Because again, 911 is a number that most people know and usually tend to call, and so we can also do that, do a better job on the radio, spreading out awareness too. That says, you know, you can also call 988 if you're not sure. Yeah. All right. Well, I appreciate that. I wanted to. We touched mostly on the foundation of CIT, or did you want to dive deeper?
We can talk a little bit more about when we had our first initial training for
Yeah.
CIT. It was a 4-day training session, and they did, like Crystal mentioned, we're going over a lot of role-playing situations,
Yeah.
and I feel that it was great to see. I was able to observe those being trained, are now trainers, and it was nice to see a lot of our cultural aspects reflected in the role-playing as well.
Okay.
So it's great to have our local trainers here to go out and train our different agencies, because they will have a better understanding of what it's like to deal with a crisis here within our population, right? So different examples like relational ties with family, which might not be as much of an emphasis if we had a trainer from outside of Guam. But now that we have trainers here, they're able to build those de-escalation skills within our culture, and it's culturally relevant. So we're really excited to have that here.
What about translators? Because when we're thinking about cultures, right there, you know, English is a second language, but sometimes they don't understand or only know some English words, you know, right? Yeah. And I know that the judiciary has translators.
Yes, the judiciary does have translators. That is a good point.
Yeah.
Especially when we have our offices out in the field, right?
Right.
We're kind of limited on resources.
Yeah.
So it's a good thing that we're working towards building up our partnerships
Sure.
within the community, so we have different resources that officers can
Sure.
tap on if they ever come across a situation where maybe they don't feel like they're able to assist right away. Maybe
Right.
we can tap on another partner and they can assist us with these.
And nonverbal?
And our,
Because when we're dealing with behavioral health, there can be some clients that are nonverbal, right? Or deaf too, right?
and I think that's great that we have our mobile crisis response team that's
Yeah.
also there, who are
Yeah.
able to recognize these signs or know how to
De-escalate
de-escalate
or interact
to
Yeah.
interact with these
with people in crisis. Yeah.
Yeah.
I wouldn't know personally exactly how or who, but yeah, that's the main goal of our MCRT is having people with those skills to recognize out in the field when these crises are occurring.
Right. And so when you're saying the training is ongoing, is there a timetable? When can people start to? I imagine there will be an educational campaign or something to let more people, or maybe it'll be on this radio show. I'm not sure on when this goes live.
Not quite yet.
Okay.
We are in the midst of coordinating and all
Yeah.
of that.
Yeah, I think it's great. I think this is something that the community has been requesting for, especially like when we're sharing early on, right? Families feel like there is no assistance. They're scared to call the police because they don't want their loved one to be in jail. They know that that's not where they're supposed to be, right? But and then there's also autonomy too, though, right? I mean, so when I call and say there might be a situation, sometimes an individual doesn't want that kind of help,
Yeah.
right? But at least you have a team that can mobilize, can address the issue and have these conversations, and maybe, talk to a therapist, even when it's not formal, right? Yeah. Well, I appreciate that very much. Is there anything else that I might have missed while I have you?
Nothing in particular.
Yeah.
I did, because Moz was able to share what she liked about the CIT.
Yeah.
I think the biggest thing that I appreciated about our crisis intervention curriculum was that we brought in people with lived experience.
Yes.
So we were talking about Togi. And Togi's role and people with lived experience, their role in the CIT is to kind of share and for the officers to learn what the perspective on the other side of the crisis can be like. So I think that's another very strong skill that CIT helps bring to our local law enforcement and first responders. Because it could be, when you're a cop or a firefighter, you're trained in your sternness, your quickness, but when you get to learn about people who have experienced crisis, what it's like for them, you're able to empathize better and respond better to their situation.
Yeah, I understand like paramedics and those that are in the ambulance are usually with the fire department too, right? But what about when they get over to the hospital? Because sometimes they go to the hospital first and then redirect, right? Usually those that are in the hospital, they're better trained and prepared too, right?
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I'm glad that you mentioned the hospitals because they're also one of our partners that we're trying to really build that rapport with,
Okay.
or build that relationship with.
Yeah.
Before our training of trainers, we actually did a system assessment where
Okay.
we had our off-island trainers see how the system works, how
Yeah.
crisis response looks on Guam. So we visited different agencies. We visited 911 dispatch. We
Yeah.
visited Guam Memorial Hospital, Guam Fire Department, Police Department, several different agencies, and then we ended at Guam Behavioral Health to kind of show this is what people in crisis, this is the order they go to, these are the agencies that actually help and touch these clients physically, see these clients face to face. So it was nice for us as well to see how CIT can work amongst all of our agencies.
Yeah.
And so we're excited to have these future CIT trainings so we can involve other agencies that weren't involved in the first training.
Sure.
But we're very excited to keep on hosting these trainings so that we can get more and more frontliners, more and more direct care service providers in these trainings and build up our crisis intervention teams.
There you go. Well, thanks for coming in. I appreciate this. You guys have if there are no other statements, if I missed anything, I think we're good, right?
So that was good. Yes. If anything, we'd like to share if the community is interested
Yeah.
in any kind of NCIT or mental health support trainings. You can always call GBHWC to see if maybe like some of the trainings will be fit for your staff.
Okay.
So if you're interested, you can call 671-647-5440, or you can email staff@peaceguam.org. Okay.
Who are these those interested are you looking for? Are you
So it could be a school, or if you're part of
Okay.
a church, nonprofit organizations that often deal with people who experience crisis,
got it?
so that they can also be better equipped.
Perfect. Yes. 671-647-5440.
Yes.
That's the number. All right. And then, of course, obviously, most importantly, right, save the number on your phone, the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline 988.
Yes.
Yes.
Right.
All right, we'll take the break, 2:32 in the afternoon. And so we're going to bring in a couple more guests. And this time we're going to be talking to our friends from the Pediatric Mental Health Care Access Project. Thanks, Crystal and Amalia. Thanks for hanging out.
Thank you so much.
This is Wave 105. We'll take that break and we'll be right back.
Get ready to show off your permanent body art as we uncover the legendary American inventor who accidentally created the modern tattoo machine. Welcome to the National Day Spotlight for July 17th.
National Tattoo Day is a time to appreciate the incredible artistry and personal stories written entirely in ink across human skin. But the technology that makes modern tattooing possible didn't come from a counterculture artist, it came from Thomas Edison. In 1876, Edison patented a device called the electric pen, a noisy handheld gadget with a tiny motorized needle designed to punch holes through paper in order to copy documents. 15 years later, a New York tattoo artist named Samuel O'Reilly realized the invention's true potential. He modified Edison's rotary motor, added an ink reservoir, and patented the very first high-speed electric tattoo gun. It turns out that a multi-billion-dollar global industry of self-expression owes its entire existence to a boring 19th century office gadget designed to duplicate corporate paperwork.
I didn't realize they were doing tattoos in the 1800s, did you?
That's true. And I love that this was a boring piece of equipment because tattoos are not boring at all.
No, they are not. We're also celebrating National Lottery Day and National Yellow Pig Day. I'm Alice Anderson.
And I'm Marlo Anderson with National Day Calendar, reminding you to celebrate every day.
If you're looking for world-class website hosting at a fair price, Pair Networks is your best choice. Founded in the early days of the web and still going strong today, Pair Networks now hosts over 150,000 websites for its demanding customers worldwide. Setting the standards for excellence, Pair Networks has a technical and support staff that's second to none. A highly stable company with top-of-the-line technology, Pair Networks offers total reliability and flexibility for your website, and even a money-back guarantee. Whether you're a professional web designer or a beginner just getting your site online, Pair Networks has a web hosting plan that's right for you. Make the move today. Log on and learn more at pair.com. That's PAIR.com. Pair Networks. World-class web hosting at a fair price. Visit us at pair.com. Pair Networks.
Stay sharp, stay curious, stay connected. Wave 105, the talk of Guam. Glimpses Media.
Close your eyes and open your senses. The all-new 2026 Mazda CX-5 is here from $29,995 or $198 per paycheck for qualified buyers. Triple J Mazda.
With decades experience in Guam and the region, Take Care members have access to the largest offering of free fitness classes and health education programs. Membership also includes the high-quality credentialed network of on- and off-island healthcare providers and the one-stop FHP Health Center and urgent care. Ask for Take Care. Call 671-647-3526. Go to takecareasia.com for more information. Take Care. Our island, your health plan.
To kids, summer isn't just time off. It's time spent building confidence and curiosity. But when school meals pause, millions of kids lose access to the food they count on during the school year. As a neighbor-led network, Feeding America is deeply rooted in every community, ensuring summer meals continue nourishing growth and potential. Your support puts healthy food within reach, fueling the future for kids and their families. Give now at feedingamerica.org/summerhunger.
The road to Adelup is here, and this time we spoke with Democrat candidates, Senator Toris Terlahi and Senator Sabina Perez. Here is your opportunity to hear how they plan to govern Guam. Watch the conversation on Wave 105's YouTube channel, dated May 28th. This is a Glimpses of Guam radio station.
KGUM-FM, Dedido, the talk of Guam. This is Wave 105.1 FM, a Glimpses media radio station.
6:35 in the afternoon. Once again, Mr. Paulie Suba right here on Wave 105. Buenas.
And once again, we are broadcasting the Guam Behavioral Health and Wellness Center Hour right here on Wave 105. And joining us now are our friends from the Guam Behavioral Health and Wellness Center, two more special guests. And so we have Dr. Brooke Pangilinan and Isabella Fagoda. And so they are both part of the PMHCA program. Half a day.
Half a day.
Half a day.
Thanks for hanging out with us. I really appreciate the opportunity to learn more about the program. And so if you can just share, I have a pediatric mental health care access project, right?
Yes.
Okay. And so Dr. Brooke, if you can just give us a little bit about your background.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I am a postdoctoral psychologist or fellow in clinical psychology at the Guam Behavioral Health and Wellness Center. And so I provide services under the PIMCA grant, and I'm housed at the Child and Adolescent Services Division for GBHWC.
All right. I'm going to start using PIMCA as well then now, moving
Yes.
forward. Okay. I wasn't quite sure.
Yeah.
Got it.
Much
and
easier.
then Isabella Fagoda, can you give us your background?
Yes, my name is Isabella Fagoda, Bella for short. My background is as a social worker. I was a social worker first with the Department of Public Health in Project Creanu. Now I'm a social worker with GBHWC, with the PIMCA program or project. And actually, my official title is Care Coordinator.
Care Coordinator.
So I will be coordinating a whole lot of care.
Yes.
Yes.
I love that. That's like a fun title.
Yeah.
I'm the official care coordinator. It works for the younger crowd, right?
Yes.
And so, I mean, that's really what we're wanting to do here. At least this program does, right? That's the goal, to provide practical solutions where families already go. Correct?
Mm-hmm. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, and so parents out there know how incredibly hard it is to get a child in to see a mental health specialist. And the wait lists are, what, months?
Unfortunately, yes, it can be.
Yeah, and so maybe we can bring this back to your program. How does the program bridge that gap?
Yes, so this under PIMCA, it really serves to bridge the gap by providing practical solutions right where families already go. And so oftentimes, right, children are being brought to their pediatricians regularly for their visits, and that is an easy opportunity for medical providers to be able to assess any mental health concerns that may come up in those rooms, and then they can reach out to us through PIMCA.
All right. And so if you can add on a little, I mean, understanding you used to work for public health too, right? And so you're working with public health again.
Yes.
Right?
So it's really fun, and it's a great honor and privilege to be able to do so.
Yeah.
So basically what happens with PIMCA is through a memorandum of understanding, or MOU, with public health, Department of Public Health and Social Services, and with our department, Guam Behavioral Health, there's an MOU in place where it's really like bridging the gap, providing like an integrated, seamless service where people that are going to our community health clinics in Derido, in Arahan, as they're receiving primary care services or other social services, they can also receive behavioral health services, as well as for their children, especially because it's a pediatric program.
Sure, yeah. And so, I mean, in Guam, but correct me if I'm wrong, doctor, there's a shortage of psychiatrists all over nationwide, right?
Yes, especially so with child psychiatrists.
Okay. And so talk to me about when a teenager struggles with severe anxiety or self-harm and they're waiting 6 months for this service.
So having this program can really help to provide that support. And so versus just giving them a flyer or information, you can actually call and consult and get services and help the family bridge to the service right then and there.
Okay. And help me understand what teleconsultation, that's over the phone, right? Yes.
So teleconsultation, I guess in the broader respect, it can include platforms such as like Zoom or like video conferencing. In this case, it's an actual phone line. In the past, there was the NENI 311 line.
Okay.
Yes, so that was primarily through public health.
Okay.
And with UOG Cedars, shout out real quick. And so now the job of PIMCA is to sort of add to what is already existing and revamp it in a sense with this new teleconsultation network. And we're working with partners throughout the region, like in Palau and Saipan, CNMI,
nice.
Hawaii. So we're all coming together and trying to pull this. It's a broad network, and
Sure.
we're very proud of it.
Yeah, and maybe, Doc, you can share more about the critical training for pediatric and primary care providers?
Yeah, so through PIMCA, we'd be able to provide training for the providers to be able to gain confidence in order to screen and manage any common childhood behavioral health concerns or mental health concerns themselves. And so on Guam, we are aware there is a shortage, which is really severe in terms of how isolated we are. And so this access really helps to bridge that and provide a lifeline to providers.
Yeah, I think we're seeing that in so many ways. And so when you look at just healthcare in general, right, and then even more so behavioral health, it can be difficult. It can be a struggle. And so if parents take their kid to their regular pediatrician for a checkup and the doctor notices red flags, what will happen next under the PIMCA model?
So under the PIMCA model, the goal is that a pediatrician, when families bring their children to see them and they have concerns, whether it's socially or emotionally, behaviorally, mental health in the broadest sense, and they make these concerns known. Oftentimes you'll see they're not the expert, so they'll make a quick
Right.
referral or they'll give a number or a card.
Right.
And we want to help make that better, and we want to establish literally a teleconsultation network, but also really introducing our community to like a warm handoff.
Sure.
And building systems of care.
Sure. Yeah, primary doctors too, a lot of times they will prescribe or they will, recommend that they see a specialist, right?
Right.
And so through PIMCA, do you already have a list that do you have a list of pediatricians that already have these contact numbers?
Yes. So under PIMCA, that is one of our major goals that we are working to establish and are in progress or in process of doing so. So that's part of the network.
Yes. And your MOU or MOA with public health, we understand that public health, the southern and the northern clinic, you can use those clinics as primary health services, right?
Yes,
And
correct.
so those pediatricians that are there, are they already in this program, or we're going to get there?
So by default, the pediatricians within public health would already be a part of the
Nice.
MOU
Yes.
that has been established. I think definitely what we're working towards is expanding that network of
Sure.
pediatricians
Yeah.
to like private care
Yes.
clinics.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, like our last guest, right? That was a program that's ongoing. The training's ongoing, right? And they're bringing in first responders, and they want to train. Not all of the training has happened. Where are we at with this program now?
So the PIMCA program, it's a relatively new program.
Yeah.
Like I mentioned before, there have been, and there still are early childhood programs.
Yes.
Whether it's in school-based settings like Guam Early Intervention Systems at DOE. Like I said, public health used to have Project Carino, and they currently still have all of their MCH programs. Those are still established within the clinic.
Nice.
They primarily serve pregnant women and families or children. And
I think I'm asking like for PIMCA, right? Like if this happens today, as our listeners, our audience is listening, and they are at public health, and a pediatrician does understand that you're gonna need a specialist. They'll be able to pick up the phone right now and have the telecommunications.
So the
now.
lines are not yet established. We are in the building phase and establishing the network
Yes.
that Bella has been describing.
Right.
But hopefully in coming soon.
Yes.
The services and the lines will be up and running, and we will have this information provided to pediatricians.
Right, because I understand the importance, right? We need to respond to the crisis immediately without delay, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so how has that conversation gone within your own groups, right? To get this moving. Are you already talking to parents? Are you already talking to clients and whatnot? And obviously we understand how this is going to impact them tremendously, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So this is where we have not yet. We are doing the needs assessment at this phase for the pediatricians to kind of just gauge what are they already doing, what can we do to support them, and how we can kind of bridge the services across not only public health and GBHWC, but also, again, the community clinics too, to be able to branch off to the children that don't get seen at public health, for example.
Right.
Yeah, because again, the goal is to meet them where they are, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And you can't, if the specialist is in Hawaii, right? That phone call, that Zoom call makes a world of difference.
Right.
You know, to be honest with you, when I'm looking at this, the reality sometimes is you'll go to a household or a family, a home, and they don't have services, and they definitely can't make that long distance phone call. So I don't know if it looks like Guam Behavioral Health and your team holding up the phone or transporting them to a space that has the technology so they can have these very intimate and important conversations with those that are not here.
Right.
Yeah.
That initially is involved. That all is involved with the needs assessment.
Yeah.
So not just the needs assessment of the consumers or the clients, but of the providers.
Right.
Do they have the capacity to provide these services already?
Right.
And if they don't, okay, we're here to help. How can
Yeah.
we bridge that gap?
Yeah. Well, I really appreciate both of you coming in, and I appreciate both the CIT and PIMCA. And these are two sides of the same coin. A lot of times you're working with the same individuals in our community, you know. You're assisting our younger generation, our Manhoban, you know, or the young ones too. And so I don't, you know, understanding that you have the program, and we're talking about again the shortage of psychiatrists, and so I don't even know if this is a question to, because it's kind of outside of the program, but still is a question that people always ask: is what are we doing to build that that kind of care here in Guam? And so I'm kind of curious too, as what are the pathways to have people in high school go to college, to be in your seat right now, Has it been a challenge to get to where you are here?
It's been
Did you have to travel? Yeah,
it's been a very long road.
Right.
I just returned back home last year.
Yeah.
So I encourage those who want to go into the path of mental health, whether that's psychology or psychiatry or social work, whatever it may be, reach out to people in the community that are already in those positions and try to learn more, because it's a long path, but it's a very rewarding path.
Absolutely.
Right.
For yourself?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Brooke is Dr. Brooke. Such a great example to young women and young girls on the island and the Pacific. Much needed services that she offers to our communities. And I'm at the beginning of that.
That's great.
Looking into graduate programs.
Yeah.
And, you know, hopefully I will be able to add to my repertoire of services.
Sure, yeah. And that's the reason why I do love this program too, because again, the shortage is not just here in Guam, like you were sharing earlier. The shortage is nationwide.
Yes.
And so we're all sharing resources, right?
Yes.
And so if we can bridge that gap even more through telecommunications, telecoms, and consultation, we have to embrace technology, right?
Yes.
And that can be a solution. But also the worry is that that shortage will be even wider right? All over. And so I appreciate both of you coming in because you're examples to this community that you can be in this profession, right? And so
It's a lot of hard work.
right,
Hard work.
and caring, right?
Yes.
Yeah, and so I want to thank you both for being in this very important role, and because you are a lot of times at Guam Behavioral Health and Wellness Center, you are caring for the most vulnerable. Yeah, and so if someone is listening right now, maybe a parent, a teacher, or a local leader, and they want to know if their community has these programs, what should they do?
That is such a good question.
Yeah.
Right now, they can contact us at our Joe Book number 671-647-5440, or they can email us at care@gbhwc.guam.gov. And, we're still in the beginning planning stages, so just tune in and we're going to be out there, and we are out there.
Right.
But those are our primary modes of contact.
Yeah, and when you don't have to answer this. This is just something that I've been thinking about too, especially when I'm watching the budget hearings. And I really do hope that we have more leaders federally, understanding we have federal programs that understand the need to provide these resources. And then to our local leaders too, as they also debate the budget bill, that if these federal programs don't move forward, that we're going to have to respond, and that response could be resources that we provide locally, because again, we're already seeing a shortage in these services nationwide. And so already this program, for example, is already providing a solution to reach out from outside of this small community, so that those that need it can get the services that they require. And so sometimes we are going to have to reach within to also make sure that these programs stay in existence, because a lot of good work is happening right now, right?
Yes, definitely.
Yeah. And so I guess when we're telling the community to look out for this program soon, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so once these services are online and up and running, we'll get the word, and then what does that look like?
Go ahead and
wrap up.
Yep. Go ask your child's pediatrician if they're going to be utilizing this, if they're familiar with it, and if not, to encourage them to reach out to Guam Behavioral Health or Public Health to learn a little bit more, and urge them to sign up, because mental health care is a basic infrastructure, a part of our community that we should prioritize.
Understood. Is there anything else that you might want to share? I mean, we know we have the suicide crisis line 988 that's so very important, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
I just would like to share with our community that we are working very hard with our regional partners. So that's something to be excited about, because we have professionals in Hawaii and Saipan, and there's development in Palau, and Brooke can share more about that too, of what they're doing with PIMCA out there. And we're all helping each other, and it's so beautiful when you can see Pacific Islanders come together, because that's so natural to who we are as people,
Well, now I'm very curious. What are we doing with PIMCA and Palau?
They're doing similar things, building their teleconsultation lines as well there for the children in Palau.
Perfect. Well, I look forward to more updates from Guam Behavioral Health and Wellness Center, especially from the PIMCA program. So thank you both for coming in.
Thank you for having us.
Dr. Brooke Pangilinan and Miss Isabella Fagoda of Guam Behavioral Health and Wellness Center. And thank you so much. Enjoy your weekend.
Thank you.
And I know you have Liberation Day as well, and so enjoy that.
Yep.
Thank you so much for all the work that you're doing.
Thank you for
having
us. We appreciate Guam Behavioral Health and Wellness Center. 2:56 in the afternoon, we're going to take the break, and then we'll be back with more of your regularly scheduled program right here on Wave 105. This is The Bright Side. Biba Betness.
Talking about guns with others might not always feel comfortable, but it could save a life. Here's a way to start a conversation. Your family is going over to your neighbor's home for dinner for the first time. How would you ask if there are any unlocked guns in the home?
Hey! Hey, we're so excited for tonight. Before we come over, may I ask a few questions?
Yeah, of course.
Do you have any pets?
Yes, we have a dog.
Great. Do you have a pool outside?
Nope, just a big old backyard.
Nice. Another question. Are there any unlocked guns in the home?
Our guns are stored securely, locked in a safe that the kids can't access.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Now, let's just talk about what we can bring for dessert.
Learn how to have the conversation at agreetoagree.org. A public service announcement brought to you by the Ad Council.
As parents, we have a million things running through our minds. Playdates, checkups, groceries, laundry, diapers, work, carpool schedules, picture day, swim team, did we mention diapers, birthday parties, meal prep, lost permission slips, dentist appointments, and the dog that still needs to be walked. So it's easy to make a mistake. Oh, I forgot birthday candles. Sit tight, hon, I'll be right back. We say we'd never put our kids in danger by leaving them in the car alone. Oh, wait, since when are candles not on the baking aisle? But never happens. And temperatures as low as 60 degrees can be deadly for children left behind. So always bring them with you, and every time you park the car, stop, look, lock. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
My name is Emma. I am 13 years old. 6 years ago, I was injured in a car accident that left me paralyzed from the waist down. Once I completed rehab, my mom applied for a canine companion service dog. Last January, I finally got to meet my service dog, Marcia. We quickly developed a very strong bond. Together, we go to my horseback riding lessons, school band practice, swim meets, and archery classes. Together, we pick vegetables, and we like to cut flowers. I love Marcia. She makes me feel like together we can do anything. I can't imagine life without her. She's a part of the family. We are just one of the thousands of teams Canine Companions has paired together over the past 50 years. With your help, we can continue for another 50. Visit canine.org to see the many ways you can change lives.
I can tell that we are gonna be friends.
KGUM FM, Dedido. Powered by Glimpses Media.
At GTA, there's no fine print favorites, no new customers only, no almost everyone, because everyone gets our best deal. Right now, sign up for any unlimited plan and get up to $400 off a premium smartphone. Yep, same deal, same savings. No hoops, no hassle. Switch, upgrade, or start fresh. No matter how you join, you win. Come into GTA today because the best deal, it's for everyone. Terms and conditions apply. GTA, we start with you.
KGUM FM, Dedido. Powered by Glimpses Media.
AP News, I'm Ben Thomas. Flash floodings again hit the Texas Hill Country. Governor Greg Abbott says at least 2